Thank you so much, and thank you for the warm welcome. It is an absolute pleasure to join you in the conference this morning, and congratulations on this. It's a wonderful initiative. As you all know, NATO's defense ministers meeting was held a couple of weeks ago, and for the very first time, we had the opportunity to discuss women, peace and security at that meeting. And so I'm very pleased to be able to now talk with you about the future and the continuing challenges to women, peace and security. As we all know, we have just finished celebrating the 20th anniversary of 1325. And I think it's important for us to also recap on why this was an important and still is an important resolution. Because it was the historic moment when the Security Council and the international community understood the link between women, security and peace. And that had never been done before. And so 1325, as we know, is really about opening spaces and dislodging obstacles to women's participation in and around conflict and its aftermath. We know that sustainable peace cannot be achieved without women's security and equality. And we know that the treatment of women in any society is a barometer for predicting other forms of oppression. And we know that countries where women are empowered are vastly more secure. Women act as catalysts in the transformation to peace, and I have seen this many times through my career. They play a prominent role in prevention and resolution of conflict, and in the restoration of rule of law, governance, and democracy. Women serve as mediators of disputes. They hold families together in times of conflict, identify and manage resources when there are very few, and in many cases, defend and protect, often at great personal risk. From the violence against women in Kandahar to the trafficking of women from Sinjar, their bodies carry the scars of violence and the wounds of loss. But women are resilient. And we've seen this collective resilience through the Inter-Ethnic Women's Bread March in Pristina, women bridging ethnic divides in the midst of shelling in Sarajevo, and most recently, the bicycle riding activism in Baghdad. But we also know that women play multiple roles, both promoting peace, but also as active agents in conflict. And they can be perpetrators of violence and terrorism, sympathizers and enablers, and we can also be mobilizers and extremely influential in forming social networks that insurgents use for support. And this we must not overlook. As a human majority, women have the potential to change the world and shape the future. And for this reason, NATO sees women, peace and security as a priority. And we have seen this agenda evolve over time. Over the last 20 years, from when I first started with 1325, women, peace and security has evolved and expanded. And the agenda in NATO has adapted to reflect changing political landscape and security dimensions. So today we have 10 resolutions, which has given us more latitude to explore emerging challenges to security. Early on, NATO and our partners recognized the value of deploying women to missions. And this has helped us with force protection and situational awareness for our troops and provided a foundation for increased recognition of gender parity as an operational enhancer. However, 20 years later, we know that this mandate and its effectiveness is not based on numbers alone, and nor should it be. To advance gender equality, we've learned we must be vigilant in promoting the integration of gender perspectives into all our functions. It's only when we weave gender as a concept and as a political and operational tool and its perspectives of gender that we weave it to our core tasks and functions, we're going to achieve our ultimate goal, which is lasting security and freedom, and provide a foundation on which the principles for women, peace and security can flourish. We've learned much over the years, and we have made notable progress, and we've adopted and adapted, and we've translated women, peace and security into our own vision. And as a result, we've become a much more capable alliance. We've realized that the vision of security must be anchored to the inclusion of women and the adoption of gender perspectives in all our activities. Now that the celebration of the anniversary is over, we now need to reinforce our efforts more and forge a path towards gender equality. For women, peace and security to succeed, it must have resonance. It means we must have the agenda made fit for purpose to ensure that everyone understands how women, peace and security is integral to our work. We cannot marginalize women, peace and security as an afterthought. We cannot relegate it to the periphery of security. It's pivotal that we move women, peace and security agenda to the front of everything we do. It has to be part of everything we do. And this is where your leadership, where we working together can make this happen. We need to increase the numbers of women in all our forces. We need to make all positions open for women, from driving tanks and leading infantry soldiers into combat to special forces. Fully integrating women into all military positions makes armed forces better prepared and stronger. And it's important we have more women in decision-making roles, including through NATO. And we have seen progress in this area. 30% of women are in management roles in the headquarters in NATO. And we have much more women working as defense ministers, as we saw recently. However, as I said, it's essential to keep in mind, while numbers are important, parity cannot be a substitute for gender equality. So the change we have to see is in mindset. It's making sure we understand what gender perspectives are and how do we integrate them. And as we work to advance gender equality, we have to know it's all of our responsibility. It is not the responsibility of a gender advisor. It's not the responsibility of the gender expert, but everybody. This is a collective agenda to which allies and partners are committed. And will and conviction must be spoken, but actions have to follow. And as the most enduring political military alliance in the world, NATO has the opportunity to lead by example and to elevate women, peace and security as a political and operational tool, but also to demonstrate not only our commitment, but our determination to make gender equality a reality. Our partners are part of this work and critical to this work. Everybody participating in this conference today, we all have a role to play. And as we face the challenges of security, whether this is conventional threats or new and emerging security challenges such as cyber, climate change, or disinformation, applying a gender lens is more important than ever. So we have much left to do, and we have to do this together. We must ensure that women, peace and security continues to enhance our work and that the efforts we've made, the progress we've seen, is sustainable. So let's forge a path together, past this 20th anniversary into the future, because NATO is doing its part, and we want to do our part with you. As this collective work, it is important, because women, peace and security is ultimately about security, and it's about security for all. Thank you to everyone, and stay safe.